Hello, what culture? It's me, Simon Miller, and if you're watching this on the day it goes live, it's Tuesday, which means yesterday was Monday, which means it's time to up those downs from Raw. And this week, Raw went really crazy. Vince McMahon in the back going, I got new ideas. But someone said, well, we could just have one big massive match, Vince. And Vince went, yeah, that'll do. I'm really tired. I'm old now. So that's what we got, but enough procrastinating and let's up those downs. So, yeah, as I just alluded to, in what must be one of the weirdest decisions in WWE history, Raw this week was basically just one big match. I mean, it was like lots of little big matches, divided up into like 6 matches or whatever it was, but it was a gauntlet match, and that gauntlet match went 2 hours. However, it's getting up. Now, we'll get into the nitty-gritty in a sec, and we'll give little ups and downs here and there, but let's be honest, each and every week, we as wrestling fans bitch and moan about Raw. Oh, it's never done anything different, it's boring, it's predictable. Well, it wasn't this week. Because of that, we can't look down on it, we've got to look up at it, whatever that means, and say that we want to see more of this, even though maybe in execution, this wasn't as good as it could have been. However, 2/3 of the damn show was basically one big contest, and I appreciate WWE for trying something new. And yeah, the long-touted gauntlet match did have Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Braun Strowman, John Cena, Roman Reigns, The Miz, somebody else, I don't know, hang on, I'm going to look and then get back to you. And Elias, of course, Elias, that guy with his little guitar. And unsurprisingly, Braun Strowman did have his hand raised when all was said and done, but it wasn't that simple. Now, the first bout we did have was Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Getting up. The two Shield dudes have great chemistry anyway, and this was basically a non-stop action, back and forth, mad little thing that went about 20 minutes, if we're honest. If we take ourselves back a little bit, this was basically a pay-per-view main event, and it was opening Raw. That's very nice. And it's the finish where I think most of the discussion will lie, because after Roman Reigns tried to roll up Seth Rollins, he reversed it into a roll-up of his own, and Seth Rollins won. He beat Roman Reigns clean, 1, 2, 3. He couldn't believe it, Roman Reigns couldn't believe it, the crowd couldn't believe it either. Now, being that this is pro wrestling and nothing really matters, Roman Reigns all like, I don't care, I lost this match, you scallywag, Seth Rollins, but I do like the seeds that may have been planted here, because let's face it, if Reigns does win the big belt at WrestleMania 34, he's going to need opponents after that. Seth Rollins can be one of those opponents, and he can look back to here and say, Roman, I beat you clean on that night, therefore I want a shot at your championship, and that all makes sense. And we're going to throw out another up too, because after this it was John Cena versus Seth Rollins, and I think they went over 30 minutes, and while the start was really boring, it did build into a good match, getting up. And they just did everything possible here, including going outside at one point and using the ring steps, and they did all their finishes to each other and their own ones on themselves or something, and everybody was kicking out, and it was your traditional classic John Cena match. However, given that it was the second match again on a random episode of Raw, you couldn't help me taken in by it, because like, what is going on? We never see this stuff on Monday nights. And the crowd got super into this towards the end, despite the fact we were coming up to the 1 hour mark in total. And once again, there was disbelief everywhere as Seth Rollins hit a curb stop on Cena. 1, 2, 3, and that's Roman Reigns and John Cena defeated in the same night by Seth Rollins. So if the plan here was to build him back up, they kind of did that. And I say kinda, because we got to get to something in a minute. I will say, I don't think it was the best idea to just give away another pinfall of John Cena on Raw, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch my Why WWE is Screwing Up John Cena video. However, I'll give it a pass here, because at least I thought we were in Project Rollins, which we weren't, but again, we'll get to that in a minute. John Cena then did cut a promo after this, and he tried to tell us once again that if he doesn't win at the Elimination Chamber, he's not going to make it to WrestleMania 34. And once again, John, what are you talking about? Don't be ridiculous. Don't be ludicrous. Of course you're going to make it. You're John flipping Cena. You could say you just want to turn up for the first half of the show and run around the ring, and they'd let you do it, getting it down. It's another down, though, because despite Seth Rollins beating Roman Reigns, and despite Seth Rollins beating John Cena, he then lost to Elias in 8 minutes. Come on. Down. It was just there, to be honest, and even when Elias won... Hell was that? Anyway, it was just there, to be honest, and even the crowd groaned when Elias got the victory, because all the wind in his sails that Rollins had picked up had been thrown away within seconds. And yeah, I get it, the whole story was that Seth Rollins was exhausted from his 2 big matches, but why even do that on the same show? At least give him a week to brag about this, and also it didn't help Elias because the commentators kept telling us, oh, Seth Rollins was exhausted from his 2 big matches, so he may have won, but he basically won by fluke. And I tell you this for nothing, that is not how we build superstars. You name me one superstar that was built like that, but you can't, so I'm right again. Then Rollins did his own interview, and he downplayed his own achievement by saying while he had just done this miraculous feat on Raw, it means nothing if he doesn't win at the Elimination Chamber. So basically, why did we even wake up this morning? Down. And one more down because it was at this point that the gauntlet match started to fall apart because we'd just seen all this action and then we had to sit through about 18 minutes of Finn Balor versus Elias, and you already know, just hearing about that, just knowing that's on paper, it wasn't as good as what came before. We kind of fell off the edge of a cliff. Down. Hilariously too, Balor did beat Elias with the coup de grace, which made even less sense that Elias had just beaten Seth Rollins. Why didn't you just have Seth Rollins go through the whole damn thing? I mean, he probably would have died. He was in the ring for over an hour, which must be one of the longest performances in WWE history. And once more, what do I know? What do I do, eh? Nothing. Elias then cut a promo and insinuated there were 6 men in the chamber, once again proving that having 7 men in the chamber was ridiculous, and even the competitors don't understand, they don't know. Michael Cole had to correct him. Oh well. And the Miz versus Finn Balor followed, and I'll be honest, I'm going to give it an up, but I don't really know why. I mean, it's fine, didn't do anything wrong, but I'm kind of just giving it an up for the sake of throwing out another up. Anyway, as you can imagine, Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas did get involved a lot, and they even distracted him at the start of the match so Miz could get in there and just start smashing away. He worked over Balor's arm for a while, and eventually, after yet more shenanigans on the outside, he hit the skull-crushing finale, and that was that. The Miz standing tall almost towards the end of the match, and he was quite happy about that until he realised, oh yeah, the last guy's Braun Strowman. And a quick down, because the promo Balor then cut, rubbish. I do, however, always enjoy seeing Braun Strowman just beat up loads of people, and this was Braun Strowman beating up loads of people, so I was getting it up. Miz did get some offense in here and there, and he even hit a skull-crushing finale on the big man, but he obviously kicked out of that well easily. And I would guess here we're teasing for the rumoured match between the two at WrestleMania, and I still don't know if I want to see that, especially after watching this. But you do you, WWE. I'll be watching anyway. Braun did hit his running power slam to win the big gauntlet match, but by this point, I think everybody forgotten that we were watching a big gauntlet match and we were all perplexed as to what Raw had become. But still, Braun Strowman won. He's probably not going to Elimination Chamber, but at least he's still strong. All the things that WWE loves, and this was it. 2 hours. 2 hours of one match. Was it good? Was it bad? No one even knows. And then we did get a promo package for Jeff Jarrett going into the WWE Hall of Fame this year, which is a surprise, because the arguments and the rows those two have had over the years have been crazy, but good for him. I think we can probably say he deserves it. Asuka then cut a promo, and well, I love Asuka, but here she got a little bit, she stumbled over her words, and she got a bit confused, and it was a bit awkward. It's got to get her down. It wasn't terrible, but it didn't hit home as intended, and when Nia Jax did pop up to beat the crap out of her in preparation for their match at the Elimination Chamber, I was a bit like, I'm glad this segment is done. And a cool Ronda Rousey package aired next, bigging up her contract signing at this Sunday's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. And yeah, it did its job. Did a good job. I think she may get booed, but right now at least WWE's treating it like a big deal, because it is a big deal. More downs though, because then out of nowhere, the Titus brand once again beat Sheamus and Cesaro in a non-title match. Damn. Now this would have been fine if there had been any consistency or continuation from what happened about a month ago. But that's not what we had here. We basically just started this program again because clearly WWE went, we don't have any tag team title contenders, so let's just do what we did 4 weeks ago and repeat that and hope that no one notices. I noticed, WWE. I always notice. Titus got the fall after a surprise roll-up on Cesaro, and this is probably one of your pre-show matches at the Elimination Chamber. Clock another down because we were also told at the pay-per-view it is going to be Bray Wyatt versus Woken Matt Hardy, and let's face it, this has gone really, really cold. That's why it's a down. It was just more promoing between both guys, and while I still love Woken Matt Hardy, I don't feel like WWE does, and they're kind of just here for the sake of being here, and I'm sure they have a fine fight on Sunday, but it will just end. It won't go anywhere. There'll be no fallout, and then where do you go next? You tell me. If they don't care, why should I? I hate ending on a down note too, but then the main event of the evening was indeed the 6 women's tag team match between Sasha Banks, Bayley, Mickie James, and they were taking on Absolution and Alexa Bliss. And well, you know how I feel about these things. It's a down. Firstly, talk about giving no build for the women's Elimination Chamber match, which is also happening this Sunday. I know the 6 women here are the participants, but it did feel like nobody cared. It did end after Alexa Bliss tapped out to the Banks statement, and after this, Absolution turned on their partner. They started laying waste to Alexa Bliss until, can you believe it, Mickie James decided to see her. Now, this was a terrible idea because a blind cat would have known that eventually Bliss is going to turn that back and go heel again, but whatever. At least it progressed the story, and in that sense, it's getting it up. And there you go, that was Raw. I mean, it was a different Raw. We've never seen a Raw like it, and in that sense, it was great, and we can now discuss it and try and figure out what we thought about it. And also, amazing Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins going over an hour. It was in 2 matches, but still pretty much an hour of wrestling non-stop, and that's incredible. However, 2/3 of Raw was also just a bunch of matches that linked together. Felt a bit long in the tooth by the end. But again, it was different, and I always respect different. So in this sense, WWE, get a salute. Thank you for trying something different. Now don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's Raw. Like, share and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles, some of which will be about last night's Raw. And follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. This was Ups and Downs, and I'll see you tomorrow when we up those SmackDown Downs.
Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Aren't you a star? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe below, and also there's probably more content floating up above my head, so why not check that out as well? Could be a laugh. Probably. 6 out of 10.